Like to welcome you all in this breakout session on creative and digital technology. In this session, you will hear from our esteemed panelists about the tech sector opportunities in the West Midlands region, its ecosystem for research and innovation, availability of talent, network support, and other assets that are there in the region. To set the scene, the West Midlands is home to the fastest growing tech cluster in the UK, with 65,000 tech professionals that is set to double in next 4 years. 25% of all UK computer games are made in the region, which is also host to the second largest cohort of computer science students in the UK. There are more industrial automation firms in the region than Manchester, Leeds, and Liverpool combined. The region is also home to Supertech, UK's first ProfTech supercluster with £2.4 billion of tech R&D investment. So without any doubt, I can say that West Midlands is a go-to region in UK for companies looking to expand and invest in the creative and digital technology. Now, without any further delay, I'd like to welcome and introduce our respected panelists for this session. Mr. Abhijit Aphale, Growth and Strategy Officer UK at Infinity Labs. Infinity Lab is counted amongst the best SD-WAN service provider companies in India. It is a technology consulting and solution company providing expert IT services in the areas of network automation, IT security, data center management, cloud computing, virtualization, Linux, and system development. Our other panelist is Mr. Nagaraj Kinney, Vice President of Sales at Microland. Microland is a leading player in cloud and data centers, network, digital workspace, cybersecurity, and industrial IoT. They are headquartered in Bangalore, India, and have offices in Birmingham and London. The session will be moderated by Mike Lewis, who is sector lead for creative, digital, and tech sector at West Midlands Growth Company. Before I pass this stage to Mike, just a few housekeeping things. During this session, if you have any questions, please do type in the comment box. I'll pick those questions and feed that to the panel at the end of this session. So without further ado, let me pass this stage to Mike. Mike, over to you.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I think we've got a really exciting discussion ahead of us, I think, and the experiences of two tech businesses here in the region. I think I'll start with a really fundamental question, if I may. So, I think we'll start with you, Key, because I think your business has been here a few years now in the region. But as an opening question, why did you, or Microland, why did Microland decide to invest in the UK and in particular the West Midlands region?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. And first of all, thanks for having me on this panel. Really appreciate. And obviously, the question that you asked is the same question that we tried to answer almost like 4 years back. Why, when we wanted to expand our global footprint in UK, we asked the same question: where should we be based out of? Right? I think that's the fundamental question to answer. And when we looked at that question, we said, what do we need? If we are an IT services organization, we are delivering digital transformation for many of our customers, and for an organization like us, there are 3 or 4 criteria that need to be met for us to be based out of a particular location. The first one was, obviously, in an IT services industry, we need our employees who can work with us in making that digital transformation happen for our customers, which means we need resources with required skill set, experience, capability, and available at a cost which we can afford. And that's one criteria that we looked at. The second criteria was most of our businesses or customers are across UK. Obviously, we have customers in London side. We also have customers on north of UK, northern part of UK as well. And hence, we wanted to make sure that we are based out of a location which has the required transport modes available for us to reach out to all our customers easily and especially within a short period of time. That was the second criteria that we looked at. The third one was obviously availability of young talent. We are in a segment where the technology is changing, evolving day in, day out. what technology we used yesterday may not be relevant tomorrow. So we needed the young talent which needs to be available easily for us to bring them on board and use them to carry out the required research and developmental activities, as well as make sure that we build capabilities on new technologies. So we looked at yeah, thank you. So for us, availability of young talent was one of the other requirement, and then we also looked at diversity and inclusion. As an organization, for last 3-4 years, we have been very focusedly driving diversity and inclusive employees across our organization, and we wanted to set up our base as well, where we are able to enable that vision of the organization as well. Last but not the least, I think one of the important factor that we looked at was ease of doing business. At the end of the day, we are a company who want to get started, get growing, and get moving, rather than trying to focus on or spend too much of time on setting up our offices. We looked at the places where we can quickly get started, and so that we as a company can focus on growing business rather than setting it up. And in all these criterias, Mike, we were able to narrow down to Birmingham, and we said, I think this is the right place for us to set it up and focus on growth in the market that we are in. And thanks to obviously you and your team who enabled us to set up very quickly. We have 2 large digital hub that we call it as our delivery centers in Birmingham today. Close to 250 employees work from those 2 digital hub today, and it continues to grow. And I think the decision that we took 4 years back has only helped us to grow our UK market quite significantly in the last 3-4 years. So I think in my view, we made a right choice, and we were able to we were able to establish and get going very quickly, and thanks to all the help and support that we got from West Midland Growth Company as well. So that's the background why we decided to set ourselves in Birmingham, Mike.
Thank you. And Abhijit, similar question to you, but I guess you're Dan earlier on the session mentioned or referred to the soft landing package we offer, and I'm delighted that you're one of the first businesses that's enjoying the benefit of that package. You're actually located this morning in the facility where that support is provided. Just same question to you, Abhijit. Was your decision, Phoenix Lab's decision to invest in the UK, and again, from your perspective, why the West Midlands?
Yeah, so those who doesn't know much about UK geography, West Midland is a kind of a center of geographically, it's a center of the UK. In terms of access wise, we can reach to any major city in relatively less time. So there is a very decent train station where there are direct trains to most of the cities. So yeah, so connectivity wise, this is the one of the best location. And yeah, so we are into telecom product and automation sector. So where our customers are same like Kinney Mark customers are across UK. So it's relatively easy for us to access various our customer bases from here. So that's one of the reason why I choose West Midland. And there is another interesting part in West Midland. This is the place where you can find best grammar schools and private schools for your kids or for your employees' kids. So that is one of the major advantage, specifically for the Indian parents, where the study is one of the major factor in their life. Kids study is one of the major factor in their lives. And yeah, so we explore various options before we chose Birmingham, West Midland. We went to Sheffield, Cardiff, and Manchester, but we found Birmingham as a sweet honey spot here, where we got all the required support from Mike and your team. So that's the reason we landed here in the Birmingham.
Excellent, brilliant. And the same with you, Abhijit. My next question is: now that you're here, in 3 weeks, I think you've been
yes.
based.
Yeah.
And obviously we had our regional tech festival last week, Birmingham Tech Week, which was the second largest tech festival in the UK. So what's your view now of the West Midlands? Now that you're here, what's your view now of the West Midlands as a tech hub?
So in 3 weeks, I at least got introduced by Mike to 10 or more than that CXOs, decision makers in my industry, where they are my potential customers or they are my potential advisors. So within 3 weeks, this number is significantly high, which I could have done in months or maybe in a year, because Mike and his team is very vocal about the connectivity, like introduction to any to the other respective stakeholders. So that was a great achievement. Plus, last week we completed the Birmingham Tech Week, which was again amazing. I was feeling like I was in San Jose, which is a Silicon Valley, where various investors were around, various innovative ideas were floating around. So startup to scale up, various events were happening. So it was amazing experience, Birmingham Tech Week, and similar events are in pipeline in coming weeks and coming months as well. So within 3 weeks, I achieved huge connectivity, and my LinkedIn profile went up significantly. So so that's the in nutshell.
That's brilliant. And Kenny, from your perspective, or my client's perspective, what's your view of the West Midlands now as a tech hub? Been here a few years. I guess particularly from your point of view, maybe a recruitment standpoint. You mentioned about getting young talent. But just what's your view now, looking back over the last few years, your view of the West Midlands as a tech hub?
No, I think in my view, Mike, with so many universities being around in West Midland region, the talent pool, the young talent pool availability is quite significantly very high in Birmingham and West Midland region. I think that helped us a lot. Obviously, in last few years, we did significant recruitment and hiring of young talent or the university graduates into our organization, and obviously that is yielding significant results. In new technologies, where we are doing significant amount of work today, be it IIoT, be it cloud transformation, cyber security becoming extremely important for many of our customers, and finding the young people with the intent to learn and contribute to cybersecurity has worked really well for us in the Birmingham region, as well as with the 5G coming now. I think the number of use cases that are available to use 5G is becoming significantly higher, and I see Birmingham being on the roadmap of obviously using those 5G for various use cases, and I think the decision that we took to establish ourselves in Birmingham has yielded very positive results for us. In my view, it is the right decision that we took, and it's working really well. And we look forward to continue our growth with the new technologies that is coming in the market. I think, I mean, personally, I've been based out of Birmingham myself, along with my family, and it's a good place for the families as well, as Abhijit mentioned, where the cost of living, which is a major concern in many parts of UK, being comparatively lower, and that's an advantage for the family as well. So if you are an organization who wants to have your cost base on the comparatively lower side, but want to attract the right talent and want to have a family ecosystem which is very supportive, I think Birmingham is the right place.
Brilliant, thank you, Kenny, and it's really good to hear too. Both your views there. So obviously, Kenny, Mike and I have been here for a few years and Finity Labs 3 weeks, but it's good to hear that you're thinking of motivation and how you feel about the region at the moment as a tech hub. And you mentioned ecosystem, Kenny, which is I think a really good question I have next. So what support, and I know actually you kind of reference on this, but what support have you received from the region and the region's ecosystem? Obviously, the Grove Company, we've been here to support you on that journey, but more broadly as well, what's the kind of support you've received or your view of the ecosystem?
Yeah, so when we set up ourselves in Birmingham, Mike, obviously setting up our delivery center or called as digital hub was one of the big tasks. If if I look back now, if I want to do the same thing in any other country, be it in India, it takes significant amount of effort and time of an organization. Whereas when we did it in Birmingham, almost few years back, two of them now, we never ever thought about how much difficult it's going to be. We were always knowing that West Midland Growth Company is there to help us, support us, make it happen, and we were able to set up our digital hub in a very short period of time, without requiring us to run around. I think that is one help that any organization, for that matter, who's new to that place will really appreciate. The second one was with respect to, as you mentioned, I mean, we are a services organization, and hence we need a lot of young and experienced talent. Recruitment is a challenge. Getting the right people, right skill set is always a challenge, and that has been enabled for us through West Midland Growth Company in last few years, as well as enabling our existing employees through apprenticeship program, making sure that the apprenticeship pot that we have can be leveraged for us to scale up our own employees, and the help that we get from you guys is something which I think is really appreciated. And the last but not the least, I think the important one is the connect. We are in the people business. Our business grows by knowing knowing someone else who has the similar kind of requirement, and enabling that connect, that business connect, is very crucial for us to grow, because we have set up ourselves with an intent to grow at a faster pace. And I think all the connects and growth enablement that you guys do for us has helped us to grow quite significantly in last 4 years. When we started our presence in Birmingham, as you know, Mike, we were a small team of around 20-30 people. In today, we have 250 employees working from two of these digital hub. So that growth was possible with all the business connects that we get, the contacts that you provide to us to enable us to grow.
Brilliant, thank you, and that's great. Abji, you mentioned as well in your first 3 weeks here the number of contacts that you made, but perhaps from your point of view, the support you've received and the region's ecosystem, how do you feel that's helped you in terms of accelerate your progress? So I think you're making the point that ordinarily to reach out to those right kind of contacts can
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing it alone, can take weeks, months. So how your thoughts on how it's helped you kind of accelerate activity for you from business?
Yeah. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, we are into telecom product and related automation area. So West Midland is the hub for a 5G ecosystem, where there is a separate incubation center, incubation facility for 5G and its related use cases. So in first week itself, you introduce us to the various key stakeholders in the West Midland 5G innovation group, and because of that, it accelerated our thought process or accelerated our future plans in align with what you are offering locally here in the 5G, and which was a kind of a great achievement for me in terms of business. And there is we closely work with the British Telecom, which is our one of the prime customer here, and British Telecom's second largest office is in Birmingham, literally 5 minutes walk from the place where you allocated to us. So yeah, so that is again one of the big achievement. And some of my key customers visited this facility, iCentrum facility, which is a great place to work, and which is relatively free of cost for me for next year or so. And which is in the heart of the city center. So if you see this, all these things which are happened within 3 weeks, so we all are here are entrepreneurs, we can understand that how much value it brings on the table as a business person. So it's a great achievement, and which has happened with your kind support, Mike and team.
Brilliant. I love the Kenny smile at the moment, and I think it must bring back memories of where you were a few years ago.
Yeah, indeed.
A shared journey.
Definitely.
And the other good support is about the legal and the banking. When we move our businesses from one country to another, every time we feel that are we doing right thing? Are we not violating any commercial laws and all? So that also was amazing from you guys. So where the legal system, you within no time, we were able to complete all the legal system associated to this transition. So that is again a good to mention.
Just to elaborate on that, so for everyone's benefit, part of the soft landing package we have on offer includes a wraparound professional services. So through our extensive professional services partnerships, we're able to provide businesses that join on the soft landing program. We're able to provide access to organisations that can help with the incorporation of business in the UK, navigate some of the complex legislation here. So that's what Andrew referred to. Can I ask you both, perhaps going back to you, Kenny, first, is what are your plans for the UK, for the region? You know, how does the future look for Michael? Yeah.
From a Michael perspective, Mike, when we started our digital hub in Birmingham or West Midland for that matter, it was started with a vision that we will support all our customer digital transformation within UK. That was the initial vision. But over a period of 4 years, I think we changed that vision a lot. Today, our digital hub in Birmingham has become a global delivery center. We support customers from Birmingham for our US region or Australia region as well. We are able to change that model where, as you know, India provides a significant capability and IT services for a global regions, but we are able to do that in UK itself, especially in West Midland, whereby we started delivering services globally to all our customers. So we made that change in last 4 years. Our vision for our digital hub in Birmingham is to create an experience center very soon, keeping in mind that some of the new technologies associated with 5G, IIoT, and cybersecurity being another component being added. We believe that there is significant opportunities for us to grab using these technologies, and hence we are working to create an experience center within our digital hub in West Midlands as well. We believe that we have the potential to grow our employee base within Birmingham by another 250 in next 1 or 2 years, because we are seeing a significant growth, and obviously COVID has actually fast-tracked digital adoption across the board for every organization. So we are seeing that growth happening for us within our Birmingham digital hub as well, and our vision is to see if we can double our employee base within West Midland, and thereby growing our region within UK from a revenue perspective, double the size of what it is today. So that's the vision that we carry, and we are on track to make that happen.
Excellent. And Abhijit, you just arrived, or very recently, 3 weeks. What's your vision, and what's the future look like for you in the region?
Yeah. So our vision is still we are gauging the situation, we are gauging the response from customer, and we are in the process of acquiring customer, since our main revenue is from the product. So we want to see whether our product is suiting to this UK ecosystem. So recently we certified our product as per the UK standard. So again, we got very good response from the legal system here that the intellectual IP registration and the CE certification and the respective certifications. So which is important for startup and scale up companies, mainly into the product domain. So again, I just want to highlight that the intellectual property registration is far simpler here compared to the rest of the world. So which is again one of the main advantage of doing the business in the UK. So compared to the vision, so we are still gauging the situation. Maybe within a couple of quarters, we will come to know where the product ecosystem is going, and based upon that, we will do the further investment into the country.
Excellent. And just a final point from both of you. I think some great sound bites, your insights and experience you've shared this morning. But just in summary, can you maybe start with you? What do you say makes the West Midlands a great place for an India tech business to start up or scale up here? So many of our listeners today on this session are obviously considering that right at this moment. So what would be your advice to say, well, why this region is such a good place for an Indian tech business?
Yeah, and maybe I'll try to answer that in a way. For a business to set up in a new place, Mike, and the cost burn is an important factor, right? When you are setting up a new place, if you are trying to do everything from scratch, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to burn your money, and it will delay your ability to focus on business of growth, right? Finding the growth. Whereas when we did this for ourselves in West Midland, we did not focus on setting up the base. We started focusing on growing our business from day one. And as an Indian IT organization, for us, that is a significant help, because we did not end up with burning our money on focusing on setting up the detail hub or delivery center. We started focusing on finding the growth for us. And that way, we have the right ecosystem in West Midland to enable Indian IT organizations to grow. And I myself, as well as our organization, is one such example where we have seen that support ecosystem helping us to set up quickly, move fast, and start seeing the growth. With the right capabilities, skill set, resource availability, and at a right price, I think West Midland is rightly placed for Indian IT organizations or Indian organizations to set up their base and start seeing the growth. And from that perspective, I think we have done it for ourselves. We have seen it for ourselves, and I would encourage all our Indian colleagues on this call to certainly consider our experience and see if there is a potential to set themselves in the region and start seeing the growth.
Brilliant, thank you. Avjit, from your point of view, how would you summarize in a few points what the West Midlands is to you?
Yeah, so for enterprise, we need a legal system, banking system, and some good customer relation or some handful startup customers. So with your help, we were able to achieve legal and finance system in no time. This is our responsibility to put the product in front of the customers. So you helped us to engage us with very interesting potential customers as well. And I think that's the only chemistry required for a successful business. After that, this is our skill to grow it multifold. So for business like my business, I think Birmingham is one of the best place where you guys should bet on as well. So which will be successful to you as well. So
brilliant, thank you. Rohit, welcome back. I think you've been monitoring questions and comments in the chat. So
yes.
Are there any particular question, any common type of questions, or any particular question you think stands out that is worth the panel sharing with the panel?
Yeah, so there are some interesting questions from Saurabh, Rohit, and Swagatika. Of course, we won't be able to pick up all the questions here, but I think one, the common theme, or probably that could answer all the questions in some way. Saurav asked that, would it be right to say that, the West Midland is the tech capital of the UK, something like that we have for Bangalore in India? So Mike and
I would
Kini,
certainly,
what you'd like to say?
yeah, that's a really interesting question there, and it's certainly right to say, and UK government reports recently and also 12 months ago barely say so. According to UK government, we are the fastest growing tech cluster in the UK. We have disproportionately more startups and scale-ups, so we're definitely fastest growing. The valuation of our tech economy is now 15 billion in the West Midlands. Again, recent announcements by HM government, but we are definitely the fastest growing, and it's our ambition to be recognised as a global tech hub. So it's not just what we are in the UK, but what we are at our place in the world. And I think some of the experiences that King shared earlier about, it's a delivery centre in Birmingham. It's not just servicing UK clients; it's servicing clients right across the globe. So I think that reinforces or highlights where we see our ambition as being recognised as a global tech hub.
Fantastic. I've seen there are also questions around the support that are available from West Midland on the startup side, SME side. So I think that was being picked up earlier in the plenary. But Mike, on the global support program, if you'd like to quickly reiterate how this could be helpful to them.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the soft landing package, which we call Global Growth Program, it's practical support on the ground. So it's free office space for up to 3 people for up to 9 months. It's wraparound professional services that will help business get incorporated, navigate through the legislation of incorporating business, the legal entity in the UK. It's access to the wider ecosystem, and perhaps Avjit probably, he's been here 3 weeks on the program, and I think some of the points he's made in the session today really emphasise what practical support that is. So it's not just desk space; it's access to people and connections, which I think is, as we all know, when you start in a business in a new geography, that's so important to be able to quickly access the right people. So that's there's a lot of practical support, and obviously, Ray, we can to all the delegates on the session today, we can send some details of what the program content is.
Yes, so we will share more details post this event in terms of the upcoming delegation, where Mike will be accompanying the Andes-led delegation, which will be coming to India. It will be traveling to Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, Delhi, and I think that will also be a great opportunity to do a catch up with Mike on some specific conversations. But I could see there are a few questions which are direct questions in terms of the support or the questions around the talent. So I think we can address to these questions separately offline to our participants. So great. So I think at any moment we'll have this room merging with our Future Mobility 1 for the common plenary. But I think this has been a really informative and quite a helpful session, despite of few technical glitches that unfortunately we had in the beginning. But I'm pretty sure the participants must have found this discussion helpful, and everyone will receive the recording of this session so that they can follow up on if they have missed anything, and we will be sharing our coordinates separately for the offline further conversation.
Brilliant, and just leaves me to say thank you. Well, thank you, Rory, and UKIBC for setting up this session. But thank you, Kini and Avjit, for joining us on the session this morning. Kini, am I right in understanding you're actually out in the event? Is that right, or are you on mute, Kini?
I'm in Bangalore today, but we'll be back to Birmingham soon.
Brilliant, thank you.